What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing our playthrough of Treasure Map versus Ace. As you can tell right now, we are not Navigation Level 1. I have been playing for a while. We did a massive stream last night, and we're back now. We are going to be doing some more grinding on stream, also throughout the Treasure Map as well. So make sure you go ahead and keep checking the Twitch, keep checking YouTube when we are actually live on Twitch. But in this video, we're just going to be doing a run-through, and I'm going to be kind of explaining everything along the way. So before we actually get into this actual treasure map, one thing I want to say that a lot of people seem to not know is the fact that there is a chance that you can run into the secret map for this treasure map. So what this is when you log into a map, there is a chance that you'll find a very linear map where you can get either two different paths, one path to a lot of points or one path to a lot of chests. I'll recommend you guys to go always for the chest, as you can get really high chances of getting tablets from the secret map. And when you see the secret map, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So in this video, we're going to be running through just a regular run through of what I would do during the dungeon. We'll explain the bosses along the way as well once we get to the battle rush. I'm not really going to be explaining the encounters that much because, you know, they're just what it is. Unfortunately, we didn't get the secret map this time around. I've been pretty unlucky. I found the secret map once from like 20 runs, which is pretty unlucky, honestly. And but anyways, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get started with this map. So a lot of people are going to ask, what boss should you go for in the treasure map? Now, to be honest, it really depends on your character box for the most part, because a lot of these bosses, in my personal opinion, are pretty easy. So it really depends on your character box. For the majority of people, I feel like Jinbe will be really annoying. Whitey Bay could be annoying, but with some AoE damage, it's going to be easy. Whitey Bay doesn't have much health at all, so Whitey Bay is pretty easy. Oars could be a problem because he does have a lot of health. In the very high navigation levels, he could be very tricky to take down. And Squad has very, very annoying debuff ability, so you need to have certain characters to get around that. So I think that Squad will also be quite annoying for some people. Once we get to each of the bosses, I'll explain them. If you guys haven't seen the other video that I have made about the treasure map and what the bosses do, as well as recommended teams, go ahead and check the card up in the corner there. You guys should go ahead and check it out if you guys haven't done so already. So go ahead and prepare yourself for this treasure map. So we are going to take this pathway because this pathway will lead us to Jinbe, Whitey Bay, and Squad. So we can take down 3 bosses in a single run, which is great. You always want to try and target as many bosses as you can so you can get as many points as possible. Getting the cooldown buff, which is good. We've got attack down for fighters, which isn't that great for us, but, you know, you can't really do much about it. I would have preferred to get the Gear 4 treasure map. That map that we had for Gear 4 was so goddamn good, being to have no debuffs whatsoever, lots of attack up, lots of cooldown and stuff. So let's go ahead and move on to the mid-map team. So this is the team that I'm going to be using, not just a team with just Thatch as a captain. We're using Thatch as a captain to go ahead and filter and get more Thatchers as our friend captains, because that's the main important thing here. Thatch himself isn't very good as a captain. If you have Blackbeard as well, you can run him as a captain. You know, double Blackbeard or a Blackbeard captain or a Blackbeard friend captain, and then something else is your captain. So this is the team that I'm going to be using here. It's going to be a Lucy team with Thatch friend captain and then a whole bunch of units. You can see I've already actually got Ace on my team because he actually is a trusty character for his own treasure map, and that's going to be so important. Once we get to the final boss against Ace, you're going to see how awesome he is in that. So anyways, I'm going to just run through this really quickly, and we'll be right back after the encounter boss. So we've just beaten this boss. You can see very, very easy to beat. Having the fighter attack down does make it a tad slower, but you can't really control that. You can't really control what debuffs you land on. So we're going to move on now and keep continuing on, and we're going to be taking on all of the bosses along the way. We're going to take on Whitey Bay and move all the way up to Squad as we move on to the Battle Rush versus Ace. So hopefully we can get Whitey Bay to come up right now. 5, yep, we're going to verse Whitey Bay right now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, the encounter versus Whitey Bay. You guys will still see what I'm doing, but we'll be right back once we take down the Whitey Bay encounter boss. Alright, so we just beat the Whitey Bay boss, and you guys might have seen just there, but you actually get a lot more EXP and mastery points for this treasure map, and I really like that they did that. They buffed it so that each boss in the treasure map gives you 5,000 EXP, so you're basically running a Fortnite with every single boss that you beat. It's absolutely insane, and on top of that, when you actually beat the final boss versus Ace, you get 20,000 EXP. So yeah, it's really good, but I'm not really too sure if the EXP changes between like the New World and Grand Line. I would imagine it would. I think New World would have the highest amount of EXP, and given mastery points, that would make a lot of sense. But anyways, we're going to take on Squad now. We've got attack up for Cerebral and health down for Driven. So that's actually not too bad, a lot better than attack down fighters for me personally. Health down isn't really a big issue right now, so I'll definitely take that. So we're going to go ahead and take on the Squad stage. So we'll be right back after we take on the Encounter versus Squad. Okay, so now that we've taken down all the encounter bosses, we're about to reach the final battle rush versus Ace. We could actually land on another spot right here. Are we going to? We are not. We're going to take in health down for Driven and attack up for Cerebral, entering into the battle rush, which is actually not too bad. So you got all these 4 bosses here. Let's go ahead and start off with Whitey Bay. So the team that I'm using against Whitey Bay is going to be a slasher team, utilizing the V2 Isho Fujitora. This guy's a beast. I only just pulled him on the most recent Sugo Fest. He's actually been so much fun to use. He's so goddamn strong. His special ability alone, like, wave clears the entire room once Whitey Bay is at low health, like we've beaten her in the mid-map. So that's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and stall enough just so we have our Fujitora special for the final room, and then we're pretty much good to go on that department. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this current treasure map and what kind of teams are you guys running. And hopefully my previous video actually helped you guys out a lot with constructing teams for this treasure map. Because I feel like some people will find this treasure map quite annoying. I feel like treasure map Ace is one of the more trickier treasure maps because there are a couple of bosses that have really annoying debuffs. You guys will see against Squad, he is probably the most annoying one to deal with. Jinbe can also be an issue as well, but we'll talk about them once we get to it. So the big issue with Whitey Bay right now, so Whitey Bay has a full squad of characters, so there's like 5 other mobs surrounding Whitey Bay, and with that, they all have a barrier. They all have an additional health barrier, kind of like Colosseum Raizo, and if you guys remember all the way back to Treasure Map Mihawk, he actually had the health barrier as well. So it's the same sort of thing here. However, in this certain circumstance here, with this treasure map, the Whitey Bay will only have 50,000 additional health, and the mobs will only have 10,000 additional health. So you guys will see, when we move on to this next room, the Fujitora special is just going to absolutely obliterate this entire final stage. Obviously, once it gets to a more difficult treasure map level, this is not going to be the case, but yeah, I mean, the special alone just destroys the whole stage. Obviously, you can also stall for the Mihawk special that does wave clearing as well. There's just so many wave clearing mechanics with 2 Fujitoras and a Mihawk. You don't have to use Fujitora as a captain either. You can use a Mihawk captain. Double Mihawk works just as well. I just like to use Fujitora because he's a beast. Anyways, that's the end of the Whitey Bay stage. Let's go ahead and move on to the Oars stage. So, with this specific stage, we are going to be running a V2 Rayleigh team, and the reason why we're running Rayleigh, a Dex captain, against this specific stage is just because of the fact that he reduces cooldown by 1. So you have the double Rayleigh, which reduces it by 2 turns, and then you've got cooldown sockets, which is another 2 turns, and then you've got the ship that we're using, the Crow ship, the Revolutionary Army ship. That ship will also lower it by 1. So you get 5 turns of reduction at the start, and then if you account for the cooldown reduction of the actual characters, because they're trusty characters, you get a lot of cooldown reduction with this team. And now that we've got Cerebral up as well, our Rayleigh will actually do a lot more damage, which is good to see as well, because all of the mobs here are strength, so Rayleigh definitely has an issue with clearing some of these mobs, but the fact that he has an attack boost is actually really good, so that's awesome. Good to see. And the whole theory with this team is we are just relying on a 1 hit from the Gear 4. You guys will see how much damage this Gear 4 can actually do just by himself with all of these specials active. So we'll go ahead and get to the final room and we'll show it off, because it's actually pretty stupid how much damage you can get from Gear 4 with Color Affinity, Type Boost, Orb Boost. You've got Chain Lock of 3 times. Like, you can get some crazy shit going on. Let's go ahead and stall 1 turn, so we can get our Gladius up. Gladius is there to go ahead and lower our crew's health, because if you guys don't remember, Rayleigh is a captain that relies on you being below 30% to get you your max multiplier, and that's what we're going to be using in this specific team here. So you see with Oars, and I feel like they've screwed up his sprite. His sprite should not be this small. On the Japanese version of One Piece Treasure Cruise, when this specific treasure map came out, the Oars sprite took up like the whole screen, and I really don't understand why they didn't do that, but you know, it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and use Gear 4 Special for the affinity boost. We've got Lucy for the type boost. We've got Rayleigh, who gives us an orb boost and a chain block as well. And we're going to use Gladius to go ahead and lower our crew's health by 80%. And then we're going to go and see this Gear 4 do a ton of damage, 5.4 million from like 1 hit, which is crazy. And you know, you do have a chance to get another blue orb on another character, which will also give you a lot more damage as well. So yeah, this team does a lot of damage, and it's very fast because of all the cooldown reduction. So yeah, I really enjoy using that team against Little Oars Jr. So the next team that we're going to be going ahead and having a look at is going to be the one against Squad. We actually are going to be using a shooter team. V2 Boa Hancock finally get to showcase this unit on a video for you guys. And she's awesome. I really like using this unit. I only pulled her relatively recently. Cooldown is good. And the whole theory with this team is we want to be using a Boa Hancock special on stage 4 before moving on to stage 5. And the reason for that is because of the preemptive attack of the Squad. And you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about right now. So, we move on here. We've got a lot of cooldown reduction because of them being trusty characters. The fact that you have the ship as well. The Kizaru ship is actually pretty good here because it gives you a lot of cooldown reduction. Not necessary, but it does help out a lot with, you know, beating this content a lot quicker. We've also got Raid Kizaru here to go ahead and lower our shooter cooldowns as well, which will also enable the fact for us to like just blow through this content extremely quickly. You guys might be wondering, why the hell do you have Senor Pink on your team? It makes no sense. He's not a shooter, and the reason for that is because he has a special ability that states that if your captain is free spirit, like Boa Hancock, it will boost attack against delayed enemies by 1.75 for a turn, and Boa Hancock delays, so it's perfect. It works really, really well. And just because he's not a shooter does not mean that he's not worth putting on the team. He helps out a lot. He gives you a lot of extra damage against the Squad stage. However, at these early stages, it's really not a problem for me to actually use it yet. But if it does become an issue for damage, then we do have that there ready to use. So now we're on stage 4. We're going to activate one of our Boa Hancock specials, and the special alone will just clear the room, which is great. But the main important thing about this is the creating orbs as beneficial, because the preemptive attack of Squad lowers your crew's attack and makes all colored orbs count as negative for your crew for 2 turns. Now, because of the Boa Hancock special making orbs beneficial, because you have that, Squad's preemptive attack of making colored orbs negative will not work because you already have a beneficial orb effect active. So now we can go ahead and use the second Boa Hancock, do lots of damage to the units. Then we use our Colosseum NL, who go ahead and will get rid of the attack down debuff, and then we can go ahead and just destroy him. Done. Easy. Done. Super, super easy. There are a couple other ways you can get around that sort of debuff. You can go ahead and use a character like the Rare Recruit Pika, who makes all your orbs into G orbs, and you can utilize G orbs. That's definitely not, you know, a bad thing to do as well. I just prefer doing this because I like to use Boa Hancock, and you know, with all the cooldown reduction with shooter stuff, it's really fun to use. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the Jinbe team. So with this team, I was using a double Cavendish team. However, I've changed my team up a little bit, so now that I can use a friend V2 Doflamingo if I do have any of them up, which I do. Good to see. So this is going to be a driven based team, and the main characters that are important for this specific team are going to be Treasure Map Cavendish and Rare Recruit Sugar. You don't really need Rare Recruit Sugar, but I just like using it because it gives us a full board of matching orbs on a certain point of this dungeon. So, with this specific dungeon, we want to make sure that we want our Sugar Special to be ready by stage 4. So we want to make sure that we can stall enough for that. So it might be a little bit annoying having to stall so much, but it's definitely worth it if you can go ahead and just spam the Dofi special and wave clear the entire room. So that's what we're going to be aiming to do here. So stage 2 here, we've got more mobs once again, but the main thing about the Jinbe stage is that against Jinbe, there are actually 3 mini-bosses along the way. On stage 3 there's a boss, and on stage 4 there is a boss as well, and obviously you got Jinbe on stage 5. So we have to deal with so many different abilities on this specific stage, and that's why I feel like for some people, this can be quite a tricky dungeon. So now we're going to move on to Stage 3. Stage 3 does have Mr. 3. Now, Mr. 3 doesn't do anything until you kill him. So we're actually going to kill him here because he is on a 1-turn cooldown. Get rid of him. And then we will go ahead and try and stall out for our Sugar. She only needs a couple more turns, which is good. So what he will do when he dies is he gives your crew a 1.1 orb and attack boost, which is really, really bad. You don't want that at all. That is a really low boost, doesn't give you much damage at all. So this is why Treasure Map Cavendish is very important, because his special ability will remove all positive buffs on your crew and then give you a 1.75 orb and attack boost, which is great for your driven teams. Now against Crocodile, which is the Stage 4 mini-boss, he will go ahead and change all your orbs into Tandem Recovery or G orbs. This is where we're going to go ahead and use our Cavendish to get rid of the old buff, give us the better buff. We're going to go ahead and use our Sugar, which will go ahead and give us a full board of matching orbs and lock the orbs if you do want to use them in the following room. And we're going to go ahead and burst, so we're going to focus here and hit our perfects. And this is going to do a lot of damage. This is going to do a lot of damage. Boom. 16 million damage. Moving on to the final boss room. We got Jinbe here, who will go ahead and put a debuff protector. And we're just going to use the Doflamingo special. We're going to let this run through, because I love seeing Doflamingo special. I really want this character. I hope I can get him really soon. He's so goddamn good when you see this special ability go. 32 million damage from a Dofi special. It's so satisfying just clearing a room with the Dofi special. It's so much fun. Anyways, now that we've taken down Jinbe, we're going to move on to the final boss, which is going to be against Ace. So the team that we're going to be using against Ace is going to be none other than a Legend Frankie team. Legend Frankie is actually hella fun to use, and I really enjoy using him. He's just not as powerful as some of the other legends in the game, but for this treasure map, he actually is pretty goddamn fun to use. And we are using Treasure Map Ace in this team as well. Treasure Map Ace, if you guys don't know, is a 1.35 times point booster trusty character. So if you do max him out, you want to be using him on your teams to get a lot more points for your crew. So with this specific team, we do have a lot of cooldown, but we will stall like 1 turn to make sure that our specials are ready when they are supposed to. We want to make sure that our Senior Pink and our Violet are ready for that final room. But other than that, we don't really need anything else for stall-wise, because all of our specials are pretty low cooldown, just naturally because of all the boosts that they are, because they're such high trusty characters. Thatch and Frankie are both 1.5 boosters. They get a lot of cooldown reduction. And you've got Ace, who's a 1.35. He gets a lot of cooldown as well. And then Pink and Violet aren't really that big of point boosters. They're only 1.2s. So they don't really get as much cooldown reduction as I would like, but it doesn't really matter too much, as this team is just really, really fun to use. So we're going to clear this room real quick. And we're going to move on to Stage 4. So Stage 4 is the unevolved version of Ace, and what he'll do is he has a, I believe it's a D-lock? Yeah, okay, so there's no debuff protector here though, so you can delay him if you do wish. But he is target locked, so you have to kill Ace before you can kill the mobs around him, which can be an issue for some people. But what we're going to be doing here is activating our Frankie's Captain action and then our Ace. And with Ace, because our Captain is Free Spirit, all of our Strength Orbs are beneficial for Strength, Psi, and Quick characters. So yeah, the Ace is so useful here. And then we can go ahead and target Ace and do lots and lots of damage. So much fun, man. And then we're going to do it again on this final stage, final boss stage against Treasure Map Ace. He appears. Now you see with here, all of the mob characters, including Ace himself, do have a combo hit barrier. All the mobs only have a 2-hit combo barrier. Ace has a 15-hit combo barrier. This is where we're going to use Senior Pink to remove the barrier so we can do lots more damage a lot more easily. We've got Violet, who not only changes the block orbs into matching, but she gives us a 0.5 chain boost, which is pretty nice. We're going to go ahead and use the Frankie special, which will go cut all the enemies' HP by 10%, as well as giving our crew a 2 times attack boost. We're going to go ahead and use the Captain action again to become the General Frankie, and then we're going to go ahead and use our Thatch, who gives us a 1.75 orb boost if there are 4 more enemies on the enemy side of the field, and we're going to go have some fun. Let's do it. There we go, just one hitting the entire room. So satisfying to do that. It's so much fun to use this Frankie. And that is basically what I've been doing so far for my playthroughs against this treasure map. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.